to Comic Beyond. So, in this episode, we're going to be talking about Catwoman Year One. And so, this is an annual that came out during her ongoing series in the 90s, which is probably my favorite Catwoman. It's the one where she's in her traditional Catwoman costume. It's the purple jumpsuit one. And that's my favorite version. And this one, she wears her gray suit because it's year one, so it's kind of different. But and so I saw the Batman on Friday, and one of my favorite takeaways from the movie was the Catwoman part where, I think this is one of her versions where it actually tells almost her true origin story in some ways, because there was a lot of aspects of like the comic stuff in this one. So not a lot of it's in what we're about to talk about. But just so you know where this book fits in canon or old canon in the comics. So Frank Miller did his Batman Year One, in which Catwoman appeared in that. And then there was almost like a direct sequel to that, but it was a Catwoman four-part miniseries called My Sister's Keeper. So those are almost like side-by-side sequels. So this book kind of fits in with those. Almost like the behind the scenes of those stories. So that's where this book is, and it takes some liberties because it's slightly different. But so what this story is, okay, so in Frank Miller's Selena's Lady of the Night, she's a prostitute. So that's also in this book, but the story we get told in this is in between that story and Year One, and then the four-part Catwoman miniseries. She actually is learning to be her jewel thief that we all know that she is. So in this book, she's doing a heist, but the trinket that she steals, so she gets attacked by this ninja guy, and you don't know who he is. He's just fighting her, and she's holding her own. But so he ends up, wiping the floor with her, and but he ends up running and gets away from her or whatever, and she's hurting. But she's like, man, who was that guy or whatever? And so she comes across him again, and then she follows him, but she ends up going to like this secret ninja organization. And so this is telling you how she's able to, where she got her training from. It reminded me a lot of how Batman Begins was, when they basically made Batman a ninja. Learning from League of Shadows, stuff like that. So that's what this story is. It's almost telling you where she got her training, and that's why she can hold her own and stuff like that. But what my favorite thing is about this story is how it kind of fills in some gaps between those other two stories I spoke of, the Frank Miller Year One and the Catwoman sequel to it. So this is literally like between the panels of what you don't see, because in this book there's scenes that are straight out of Year One. So when Batman's getting away from the cops in that book and he lets the bats out, and Selena goes to find out what's going on in that story, that's in this book. So in between what's happening in that book, these events are unfolding. So I really like how it kind of just, not retcons, but it just kind of fills in some gaps. So if you ever want to know the complete origin of old Catwoman, not the one, because there's two different ways of looking at her origin. You got the one that when she first appeared on the scene from Batman #1 in the 50s or 40s, and then the one that ended up becoming the new canon, which was when Frank Miller did Year One, and then they've altered it since then with the New 52 and stuff like that. But if you're interested in that origin story for her, the one that was around for a while. So you would read Batman Year One, Then you would read the Catwoman 4-part miniseries, My Sister's Keeper, and then you would just kind of take this and read it on the side, and then it would fill in between all that stuff. So that's what I like about it. The way it kind of just uses the material that already existed, and just kind of tells the rest of her story, So I really like it. Catwoman is one of my favorite characters. The reason I covered this book because it was very simple. It was just a simple, you know, she's learning to be a jewel thief because she's trying to get from underneath the life that she's living. She dons her Catwoman costume for the first time because she's inspired by Batman. Which you see that in you get the idea of that from year one. And then you find out the reason why she's able to do what she does and stand up to like people like Batman or other villains within her fighting range is because she was literally trained by some ninjas. But that's what I like about it because it's like a filler thing, but it's pretty quick read and then it just works well for the character. So Catwoman is one of my favorite characters, and there's some other stories that I'm eventually gonna tell. But yeah, I was gonna do year one, then I thought about doing the 4-part Catwoman series, but I figured I'd simplify it, just kind of just talking about this issue because like I said, it's fun because you just you see things that you didn't see in the other stuff. But as far as the movie goes. So the movie actually does pretty good on her origin story because they do some really deep cuts as far as like making Falcone her father, her scratching his face, working for the crime families, stuff like that. So I really enjoyed what they did with her in this movie. I liked the look. I thought she had a good costume. It looks a little more like the modern day Catwoman we know. I thought the actress was good. So that was one of my biggest takeaways from the Batman. As far as the movie goes, I think that one of the best introductions to a Batman we've seen in a movie because they actually made him the Boogeyman. Um, so it was enjoyable. I liked it. It was a bit long, but I think I actually like it better than the Dark Knight, which that would probably rub some people the wrong way because everybody loves Heath Ledger's Joker. So, but that's a whole different rant. But that's this episode. I hope you enjoy it. This book would be easy to find in like a back issues box. It's not as expensive at all. So if you just wanted to kind of check out some Catwoman, I recommend this issue. You can probably find it at your local comic shop or any back issues wherever you get your stuff from. But yeah, that's this issue. Hope you enjoyed it, and until next time, I'll talk to you later.